Hey guys, this is the Ecron Writer here, welcome you back to another OBS project. And I just love Rick very much. He's my all-time favorite pilot in the F-Zero series. And today I'm going to present to you another one-shot. And I was reluctant about this one because this is actually a song fic. I just hope I won't get into any trouble because it revolves around lyrics of a certain oldie that I personally like. So, let's get this thing started. So here we are, Rick's Lament. I don't know the song A World Without Love. That was performed by Peter and Gordon and written by Paul McCartney and John Lennon way back in 1964. Still, I find this oldie to be very good, ever since I was young. When I was like a little kid, actually. This is something I've been thinking about back in 2004. When I first saw Lap 8 on the anime, the English dub, I couldn't think of a better song than this. As you'd see, Rick is the hurting hero as he laments over the life he had 150 years ago, but mostly for his loved one Haruka Misaki. I know in Japan it's like the reversal, but I prefer the English name. I believe this selection fits rather nicely. This is my very first song fic, so I hope I did this right. This could take either one of the titles, the song itself, or as I like to call it, Rick's Lament. About a month had passed since Tinsel first met Rick at the Falcon House. Bert introduced him to her as she was cleaning out the engine of the Silver Comet, and she was too shy to give him an introduction. After seeing him during race after race in the awesome Dragon Bird, which it is, she grew fascinated with him. Not only was he an amazing F-Zero pilot, but also a rising star, and he was considered as a hero to many, especially when she assisted him to retrieve the medicine for the sick children across the universe from a lethal Japanese warrior named Goro. But that all changed 4 weeks later. Tinsel found out Rick won 2 Grand Prix in a row. He was described as unstoppable, but also Dark Million's #1 target, as the leader of the task force Jody claimed. Unfortunately, Rick was just as vulnerable when Tinsel listened in on his angst. He never felt happy taking those victories, all because he was suffering from survivor's guilt. He couldn't stop thinking of the life he once had 150 years ago, particularly his vengeance for Zoda and his lost relationship with his beloved Haruka. He became somber, but later absent and depressed. This also made his mind drift, even when he was on the job. Tinsel never saw her best friend like this before, and she wished there was something she could do to help heal his deep emotional wounds. The manifestation was too much for them to bear. One night she followed the Dragon Bird, wondering why Rick disappeared so suddenly. She heard a conversation between him and Bert. The diner was empty and dark, as it looked as if it was closing up. Over a steaming cup and saucer of sweet coffee, known to them as the usual, Rick asked him with an expression that was too sad for words. "Bert, ever lost somebody you really cared about?" "Yeah. We had our whole lives ahead of us." His mind reflected back to the time when he was chasing down an escaped convict named Zoda. He was racing in a brown sedan through a bunch of alleyways heading toward the Brooklyn Bridge. Rick was right on his tail until the insane inmate managed to use his semi-automatic and shot off his door from the hinges. He kicked it off, and the slab was heading straight to Rick's windshield. His whole body was destroyed from the fatal shards of glass. Then he was put into cryo-hibernation for a century and a half. Must have been a big shock when they got you out of cold sleep. "They said I've been asleep for 150 years, but I couldn't believe it, so I rushed out to propose to Haruka. When I got to the bridge, I can't stop thinking about her, Bert. I can't get her out of my mind, and I'm not sure if I want to, even if I knew how. I know it hurts, But you have to let this go. How can I? How can I forget how Soda destroyed me? Everything I had, everything, is gone. He looked at his wrinkled glove, thinking his hand was bleeding. It wasn't, but Tinsel knew his heart was. That really sliced her nerve strings, thinking she should give him some space, and hearing all she needed to hear, she held back her tears and drove to the apartment complex they shared. While riding in her silver Comet, she turned into an oldie from her audio Blu-ray already loaded inside her stereo. The song suited Rick's Lament very well. It played in an E chord, the drum tapped along, a bass played in conjunction with a guitar, and two guys expressed their pain. And it goes like this. Please lock me away, and don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love. This really described Rick's sadness quite nicely. This was actually a song made way back in 1964, and she and her family were huge music buffs. It came to show that they weren't the only traditionalists around. As Tinsel heard more, she became in tune on how much it spoke about heartbreak and despair. Birds sing out of tune, and rain clouds hide the moon. I'm okay, here I'll stay with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love. It seemed the guys singing it were in denial. Despite their yearning for someone close to them, they tried to live on as best as they could. Yet still they hurt inside. During that time they hoped desperately for anyone to give them the love and support they needed to live, whether it be from the repercussions of death or separation. To Rick, this reminded Tinsel on how he depicted Haruka after 150 years. So I wait, and in a while I will see my true love smile. She may come, I know not when. When she does, I know, so baby, until then, lock me away. And don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love. There was a brief instrumental break, and Tinsel found the song to be more relatable by the minute. The song repeated the bridge, then the chorus, saying about Rick on how much he misses her, and is anxious on seeing her again by any means. So I wait, and in a while I will see my true love smile. She may come, I know not when. When she does, I know, so baby, until then, lock me away. And don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love. By the time the sonata ended, Tinsel parked the Comet in the Flats lot. She cut off the engine and sulked. The night was just enough to hide her emotions of sorrow, empathy, and worry. She remembered that she was in total disbelief when Rick said he was asleep for 150 years. She knew already that only first-degree criminals were sentenced for permanent cold sleep in Planet Alcatraz, but he was far more luckier than them. He may have survived that accident, but he was only half alive. Losing everything and everyone he cherished was really taking its toll on him. Tinsel wishes that one day Rick would heal his scars and find a sympathetic friend that would guide him through the dense fog of his depression. She hopes he won't do anything Where is it? She hopes he won't do anything to put his life in any more danger, as if Dark Million's assaults weren't bad enough. Tinsel was willing to protect Rick from those threats, no matter what Zoda or Black Shadow or Blood Falcon might throw at him, or if his endurance would fail, and let his life take a turn for the worst. From that moment on, she knew she'd be the one who would cure her close comrade, and be there for him if anything should go awry. She made a personal vow to do so, and she still does help him fight his treacherous demons to this very day. I'll probably leave the song in the description, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, farewell futuristic racing fans, and always keep the faith.